Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about fear. Now, fear is one of those emotions that we can all relate to. We've all felt it. Some of us are even feeling it right now. And there are all different types of fears, from the wacky to the serious. Now, does anyone remember this guy? As a kid, I loved the Cookie Monster. Why? Because I understood his motivation completely. Me want cookie! Unfortunately, the Cookie Monster lived on the same street as this guy, the epitome of evil with yellow feathers and a beak, Big Bird. As a kid, that yellow feathered freak scared the hell out of me, and I took that irrational fear all the way into my adulthood. But some fears can be a lot more serious. It might be a fear of flying, socialising, public speaking or interviews, or even the fear of going up to that girl you see every day on the train and asking for a number. The list goes on. But if we don't confront our fears, if we don't tackle our fears, then that can really have a fundamental impact on our ability to lead the life that we want to live. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 6-point plan to give fear the finger. Let's go. The first step is really to articulate your fear. Say it out loud. My name is Paul and I am a Big Bird survivor. The thing about fear is it's often hiding in plain sight. By bringing that fear out into the open, you're exposing it. By acknowledging that fear to the closest around you, you open up the opportunities for them to support you and push you to confront your fear. Who knows, they may be feeling the exact same way as you, or they may have confronted that same fear in the past. And besides, the first step to dealing with an issue is admitting that you have one in the first place. So confide it, don't hide it. The next step is to rationalise and really educate yourself in the field that fear exists. Now, the internet really is a fountain of knowledge on so many subjects. So focus on the facts and look for credible sources for support. So what do I mean by credible sources? Well, let me ask you, ever been in that situation where you're feeling ill and you decide to Google your symptoms? You click on a randomly generated website and obtain your diagnosis.
It says here I have network connectivity issues. That sounds bad.
Unbeknownst to you, this dodgy looking website is a product of full-time Instagrammer and part-time medical expert, Jan. Something very familiar about all this. 10 minutes later and you're filming a tearful farewell video for friends and family on Facebook Live and calling your Uncle Bill for last rites. Don't listen to Jan! So get your information from official and endorsed sites and seek your support from credible sources. Education is so important because it allows us to rationalise our fears. Our mind is our greatest gift and our worst enemy. Without that education, without that perspective, our mind will do what it's trained to do when it's in a state of fear. Perpetuate the worst case scenario. You give permission to your raw, uneducated mind to take the wheel, and it will catastrophize everything, forcing you to run away from your fear yet again. Perspective is your directive. The next step is a really important one, and that is to acknowledge that fear and failure are fundamentally connected. In fact, they're not just connected, they are basically bedfellows going at it every single night. A fear of failure is the ultimate fear, and it's where most, if not all, of our anxieties stem from. You must develop a great relationship with failure. Embrace it, because you will learn and you will grow far more from failure than you ever will from success. By embracing failure, you take yourself out of your comfort zone, you extract the lessons from that failure, and you grow and adapt to the point where success becomes inevitable. So evict fear from the bed of failure and end that destructive relationship. Failure and success, now that's a relationship with real potential. The next step is to harness and utilise the power of peer pressure. Yes, peer pressure can be a good thing. You take the opinions, expectations and influence of those around you and turn it into motivation for a positive call to action. You might have a fear of presentations, but if you're in a room full of friends and colleagues, you'll often push through that fear. You don't want to look stupid, or you don't want to let your friends or teammates down. It's a great way to force yourself to take action. The next step is a really important one. Visualize action versus inaction. How will it feel if you finally take action? Think about that sense of accomplishment, that sense of relief when you finally overcome that fear that's been dogging you for years. That worst case scenario trailer that's been playing in your mind for years was nothing like the reality. It was nowhere near as bad as you expected. In fact, maybe you even enjoyed it. Now visualize what inaction will feel like. You didn't face your fear, you ran away like every other time before. And now you're going to continue to walk around with the burden of that fear for the next week, the next month, the next year, continuing to live your life with that voice in your head saying, what if? Now ask yourself, which one do you want to feel? The elation of action or the deflation of inaction? And the final step, to look into the whites of its eye and face that fear. Think of your fear as the school bully. You've heard so much about his fearsome reputation and spent years avoiding him and hiding behind the bike sheds. So what happens when you finally decide to stop running and front up to this legendary bully? You strip away the rumour, you strip away the reputation, and you see that he's human and probably just as scared as you are. Little tip, probably don't do this if he looks like Jason Momoa. When you confront fear, you take away its power and you take away its hold over you. Whether we confront fear or we don't, it's all about that story that we tell ourselves. So what do you want your story to be? What do you want fear to stand for? So, does it stand for forget everything and run? The path to inaction? The path to a world crippled by fear and never getting what you truly want? Or do you want it to stand for face everything and respond? The path to action, the path to growth, the path to the best version of you and having the life that you want. If you confront your fears, sometimes you'll win and sometimes you'll learn, but you will never lose. So I leave you with this, a call to action and the mantra of the greatest team that I've ever had the privilege to be a part of. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So there you have it, that was my 6-point plan to give fear the finger. I think this is a really great subject, so let's use the comment section below to connect. So what are some of your fears? Are they as bonkers as Big Bird, or are they something slightly more serious? Is it something you're dealing with right now, or is it something that you've already conquered? As always, if you got value from this video or enjoyed it, don't be afraid to smash that like button below and subscribe to my channel. I put out videos every Tuesday. PD Storytelling is now on Facebook, on Twitter, and I now have my email address, which is pdstorytelling@outlook.com. If you have any questions or need any support with your own personal development or want to take advantage of some free coaching, drop me an email. As always, I appreciate your support and thank you for watching this video. And until next time, remember, Big Bird is evil and stay safe.